specific, deliberate way, which then prepares your dog for not only dog sports, but a lot of benefits. So I talked through, and you will see how this all falls into play, how I introduce to my dog concepts that the dog will need later on, okay, or the dog will encounter. So the dog will be introduced to concepts that they will be exposed to later on. So a concept that the dog will be introduced to is repetition. Not all dogs like to repeat behaviour. The dog will be introduced. The dog will be The dog will be introduced to the concept of a little bit of frustration, which for those dogs that are predisposed to reactivity or reactive behaviour, dealing with frustration in a productive manner is a really, really important concept to introduce to them. The dog will be introduced to the concept of how important the click is to the dog, and what the specifics of the click means to the dog. You are doing the perfect response. Okay, so I have this border collie puppy. I'm not going to say her name, for 3 weeks. So she's going to abroad in the beginning of the new year. I have her, and I picked her up on Tuesday. So I've had her maybe, 5 days. And again, I've started that process of hand feeding her, etc. So I've set up this situation, and to give you an example of how I would approach and think about my training before I try and train the dog. So clearly the puppy is in an enclosed pen, which means that I can have her off lead. So and I'm just allowing her to bimble around and just make sure that she's comfortable with it. I kind of know that she will be fine because I've had her in here, I think Wednesday, Wednesday I had her in here at training. She wandered around, and last night she came in, and whether you saw me doing a live yesterday, she came in and she was charging around. So I know that she's happy in this environment. And I discussed yesterday at length about the importance of making sure that your dog, I know my food is up there, is comfortable in the environment, all right? So again, the major things that I've been doing with her is hand feeding her, so she doesn't have any meals from a bowl per se, as I say, maybe with the exception of the first night. And she has also been starting a couple of little sessions of training. So the big thing that I work on is attention in general, and name response, hence why I'm not using it at present with her. She's been introduced, met other dogs, she's met chickens, she's met sheep, she's had a collar on, she's had a bath, so she's had quite a lot going on in a relatively short space of time. I would adapt that if I felt it was appropriate for the dog. If the dog was, say, maybe a rescue dog that had a level of trauma, I might be a bit more patient. I know where this dog's come from, I know how she's been reared, so I'm happy good girl. So I'm happy to chuck her in a little bit in the deep end, okay, so to speak, but obviously you need to be mindful of the dog that you have. So, common question that I get asked about puppies, and I think this is something that is, do I leave toys around for my puppies on the floor? Yes, she has toys that are around for her. They wouldn't be toys that I would choose to train with. They are what I would call really poor toys. So they're like the pet shop you buy toys that are squeaky and big lumpy things, and she can interact with them, but they're not really they don't look too. They're a little bit hard, maybe. She can move them around and they make noise, and she can get in her teeth and squish them, but they're not what I would call brilliant toys, which is what I'm going to show you. We discussed about thinking about the type of toy that you use. So yes, I do have toys, but by doing that, I'm essentially saying to the puppy, I've got no problem, you by all means can go and chew that plastic toy or that Kong or whatever, but it's not as fun as that toy that I have, which looks like a little furry bunny rabbit. So straight away I'm saying to the dog, I can produce the better option than the environment, okay? And that's, again, the way in which I want to choose, live my life with my dogs, that they choose me over the environment, okay? So, in regards to how much access my dogs have with my puppies have with my dogs, I'm very laid back about it. And the reason I'm laid back about it is because I'm confident that I can create a dog that's focused on me, and also I can play with my dogs in a way that is productive. And I would say to people, how much time your puppy has with, good girl, how much time your puppy has with your other dogs is very much dependent on how confident you are of creating focus and how confident you are playing with your dog in a way that's productive for what you're trying to achieve. So I'm happy to get down the floor and mimic and play with my dogs. And the funny thing is, I'd say there's only 2 of my dogs that I will see playing regularly together, and that's Super and his daughter Mighty. And funny enough, Great, the puppy, and Mighty have just started to play together. Generally speaking, my dogs don't play with each other. And it's not because I stop it, it's because they don't find each other interesting. But if I walk out and interact with them, everybody will gravitate to me. Or if they were playing, even if they were playing the odd occasion with something like a toy, if I walked into their presence, 150%, I will guarantee you they'll stop playing with it. And that's not because I've ever told them off, it's because they go, you're far more interesting than this mundane thing that's on the floor, alright? So with my puppies, hence why I'm confident to let them be around my other dogs quite a lot, but I would urge you all to think about, and be truthful, and this is one of the things that I will discuss is, sometimes we need to be truthful about our strengths and our weaknesses as trainers, and are we good at motivating our dog? But if your motivation isn't your forte, then I would say to you, probably ensure that your puppy doesn't get that great tug game from another puppy, or that great running around like a headless chicken from one of your other dogs. Yeah, because you're going to then straight away condition your puppy that they can give you something that you can't. So I'm training this puppy at the moment that this stuff, because she likes to do this, doesn't work. Yeah, and it's not particularly pleasant for me, but I'm not going to punish her. I'm going to just wait for her to stop and then reinforce her. So she gets nothing from me until she does something other than this. So this is what puppies do with, good Baba. That's what puppies do with each other. They go, sorry darling, I'm going to get your tail. Okay, good. Squash the puppy. Okay, puppy. Good. So puppies do that with each other. They go bite, 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 bite. Oh, that biting doesn't work. How about I pat you on the head and send you a nice, appropriate invitation? Unless it's a Malabar litter, in which case biting is the way to get your siblings to play. So, again, talking about breed characteristics and breed. Do you want this instead? Not really, she says. Just want the food. As I say, breed characteristics, litters of puppies, they all interact differently. Malinois litters, for example, they're like little piranhas. Boxers are very, very physical and fighty. Border collies are a little bit more patty, and they, have their little squabbles. But generally speaking, it's not with the intensity of breeds like, for example, like Dutchies or Malays, etc. So I'm getting fidgety. I want my food. So even that, I don't want her to just to be all hyper when I pick her up. She's just calm there, and then I popped her down. So constantly thinking about my interactions. If she wriggles and I put her down, that's essentially saying to her that's good. I'm reinforcing that behaviour. So being mindful of good girl. So she sniffed my hands. That's better than biting them. Good. Good girl. Let's think something you've got whilst we just discuss and talk. So do you want? So so it's about interaction with my dogs. Good girl, get your tongue out. Well done. Yeah. So she has really pretty good play. Her play, what I'd say, is very good on this specific toy, and that's because her breeder did a lot of play with this particular toy with each of the puppies. So she really, really loves this toy. She's not so great on other toys, but I will build that, okay? And I will have a similar toy. I think I've got one similar, so to grow from this to another toy, and from that toy to another toy, and so forth. Oh. So again, nice long toy. I discussed yesterday about having a toy that's appropriate. So she can move away from it if she wants, but if she comes back to me, I can fuss her and say I'm not interested in the toy at all. I just think you're wonderful for having that toy near me. So that's building a little bit of trust. Yeah? So what happens is people want to manually tug, and when they get back to him, they want to get it off the dog. So I'm straight away conditioning the dog to be concerned that, hey, you got a tugger. Oh, missed it. Ha ha. Oh, careful, skedaddle. Yeah, good. So tug, a little bit of motion, get a bit of prey drive going. Ooh, yeah, good, nice. So, go on, you can get it. You can get a papa. That's the one. Yay, good. I've got to play now. That's the one. Yeah, good Baba. That's a good Baba. Whoa, you let go. You can't let go. Get it, Tugger. Yeah, good. So again, value, starting the basics of value for dead toy there. Move it. Give it to me. Get it. Whee! Yeah, so there's that beginning of that little game. Alright? So all I'm working on is tugging. I'm doing touching. I'm deliberately making contact with her. Yeah, and letting her tug back. Woo! And patting her and touching her collar and there, and then giving her a little love because she's a clever girl. And I like them to do that with her body slam me, they'll touch on me. I like to let my puppies jump all over me and clamber all over me and do all this sort of stuff. Again, one of the comments from somebody was about my dogs jumping up. I don't have a problem with it. Eventually I put it on cue, so they don't randomly do it in terms of they only like on a daily life type thing, yeah? So, so let's now. So the things that I would first thing, and this is what we're going to get you guys to do, is we're going to shape a behaviour. And this is going to be our go-to behaviour on which everything is going to be built. And that would be concepts that we're going to introduce. Yeah, but we want the behaviour to be really, really easy for the dog to do and very clear. So we're going to set the dog up for success. So the behaviour that I've taught Madam to do, and again, no, I'm not using her name, is, I'll do a little bit of name trading in a second, is to step on that blue wobble cushion, right? And I'm going to show you how I'm going to grow that to another behaviour, and teaching her the importance of the click, all right? So these are all little beginning. I'm putting in those little seeds in with her that I'm going to use later on. Now again, what I'll do after lunch, I'll show you Great, who's 6-7 months, how that is starting to evolve now with the older puppy, right? So, hey, what's this scary noise? We don't care about noise. Shh. Okay, so let's do this then. So again, I've already thought about my environment. I'm limiting her options. She can't go wandering. Or I could have her on a lead. Great, that's another option. But in this situation, I wanted to have off lead, so I've just put this X pen around me. Yeah. Bathrooms are great places to train dogs because generally speaking, there's not a lot of, unless you take a sandwich in the bathroom, generally speaking, there's not a lot of food on the floor, and generally speaking, there's not a lot of exciting stuff in there. Yeah. They tend to be cleaner. Yeah. So bathroom training is a great place to train. Kitchens tend to have food stuff, so your puppy can get, you know, distracted by a nice smell. So we want to be thinking about where we train our puppies and controlling the environment rather than the dog. Okay, so yeah, she's a one. So again, constantly touching her, patting her, see if I can, yay! So she just brought the toy towards my hand there. That's the beginning of this dog doing a little informal play retrieve. Yeah. So she lets go. Oh, the toy's gone. Rabbit's gone. You chased the other rabbit and you lost the one that you had. Yeah. Woo. So again, generally speaking, I would train my puppy, I should have thought really bought a rug or a mat, where there's, they can get traction. So again, thinking about them not slipping and sliding all over the show, yeah? But we'll work with what we've got. Yay, there's the beginning, yeah? The beginning of her learning to bring a toy back. Yeah! Ooh, you missed it, ha 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 ha, you look, got a toy. Da, da, da. Ooh, you missed the toy. Yeah. But you've got to keep on the toy, that's the game. The game is bring the toy back. So tug, 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 get her on the tug, little bit of motion. Oh, that's it, that's better. You've got to get it there, sweetie. Oh, 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 she's so strong. Oh, she's so strong. So lots of contact. Ooh. So she does that. I then pick up the toy so she can work out that the thing to do is to travel back to my hand with it. Yay, there's the beginning. Just a slide. And I'm not asking her to run across the pen with me with the toy. All I'm asking her to do is keep hold of the toy and drive towards the hand. Yeah? All right, so now we're going to move, get rid of that. Okay? So, how I tell my dog I want it to interact with this thing is I pick it up and I love it. So, in this bowl is her meal, right? I'm chucking everything at you. Is her meal and a little bit of extra so that it's a bit more yummy in case she's not focused. I think she's going to be fine by her body language. Something tells me. You made a food. Okay, so I'm going to love it. Wait for it to look at. Hello, Puff. Oh, it's this thing. Do you remember it? Yay, good. So good. I'm just going to start the ball rolling, okay, feeding her on it. So this is, she really fluked that on there because it's so big. Yay, good. That's a little conscious, bit more conscious decision. So there's a difference between the illusion of behaviour and understanding. So now I'm feeding on the object, okay, notice I haven't clicked her. Now, bearing in mind, the first time I introduced this to her, I rewarded her and I didn't click, I reinforced her for the approximation. So she's looked at it, etc., etc. Now that I'm confident that she's going to do that behaviour, okay, I'm going to introduce my click. So it's 4 feet on, yep, good, all right. Now last night actually, I'm going to shape her to do an SIT on it. So I'm going to wait a little bit longer. Okay, pup, let's reload. Okay, pups. Okay, so she's got to do an SIT on it now. Yep. So she's like, I can spell, I'm amazing. So I'm going to wait. I'd like her to hold that position. Good. Okay, good. So again, tweezer fingers. If she breaks, that's fine. Ooh, nice. So she moved. So I'm introducing those little concepts. Okay, yeah, she fidgets around, it's not the end of the world, she's a baby. Come on, Pops, come on. Come on, little one. Yay, okay, so I'm going to see if she'll go it again. The behaviour is an SIT, in position, and that's the only thing I'm going to click now. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Yep. Nice. Good. So when I click her, I give her multiple treats and I feed her ideally in position. Yeah? Okay. So come Bubs, get it. You can have that. There you go. Okay. Come Bubs. Ready? Yep. Oh, you got me on that one. That happens. So I'm gonna just wait a second. Oh, you cheat. Nice, good, nice. And again, watch how I'm feeding her, deliberately with my hand low so I don't then cause her to break that position. I'm going to use my release word. Okay, get it. Nice. Okay, so teaching her that line of communication. She goes back on, she offers that, yep. You moved there, you got me on the click there, good girl. Feeding in position. So all I'm looking for her is, okay, pup, so manage her behaviour. Now I'm happy with that. I'm for the purpose of, okay, good. So I allow her to, I give her permission to go and sniff the floor. I deliberately draw attention to it and I gave her permission to look at that. So I'm going to move it on and I'm going to now change the object to something. So she's never seen this before. Same criteria. Oh, mind you. Well done. Baby. So I'm going to put that out of there. Okay, let me get some treats in my hand. Okay, so. Oh. I normally have this higher because I don't really like her doing that. Good girl. Oh, oops. Well done. Okay, what's this one? Yay. So again, I'm going to reward approximations because it's the new item. And good girl. Nice. Good girl. Superstar. So this is what I would call as getting a chunk of behaviour. Okay. Yeah. Nice. Good. So she's doing the thing that I want, but I want to make sure that she really understands and has clarity. Okay? So let's a little bit manic on this food, don't you? Good. So good girl. Nice. Good. Good girl. Okay. Good girl. Nice. Good girl. Nice. Good. Good girl. Yep. There it is. Good girl. Okay. Well done. I can reload whilst I'm feeding. So again, I manage her. Okay. Then she's going to go back on it, hopefully. Let's stand up. Oh, it's a change of the picture a little bit. Good girl. So I changed the picture. I'm going to reward approximations again. But again, I'm not clicking those. Yay, good bubba. Nice. Yep. There's the pedal, you lifted your foot off, okay. That's my sloppy mechanics. Yay. Yep. Well done. Managing her position there. Good, good. Okay. Good girl. So now, I'm challenging her a little bit further. Okay, smaller item. Okay. So I've now grown the behaviour from big blue disc to purple thing to now slightly smaller. I've made the challenge is it's the size, okay, so it's got to be smaller than the other one. So, but I've reduced the complexity because it doesn't wobble. All right, so thinking about the objects that you use, again, wobbling is a complexity, distance is one. Yeah, all of those little tiny variables need to be considered. So I raise her, oh, look at this lovely thing, isn't this wonderful? I go back to the yay. Good baby. Rewarding approximations. So the question would be, good girl, is why don't I reward her when she's on it but mugging me? Because the dog isn't really, she's not showing me a clarity of understanding. Okay. Good girl. and the dog is able to qualify as fluky in the behaviour. Yay. Nice. Good girl. Choosing to come back into work. Yay. Good. So again, the puppy got distracted, okay, by the puppy moving. I rewarded her for choosing to come back in and keep going. Yeah? So she lost a bit of focus. Yay. Yep. Good. Yep. So good. I need to improve my mechanics again. Yep. Good. Nice. That's better. Good girl. Good. Good. So you can see how I've grown the behaviour from go on the big, huge wobble cushion to the smaller one, but longer, and then even so, and then I would decrease it even more. Okay, good girl. So, hip ups. Good girl. So I'm gonna go back just to keep. I wouldn't normally do this in one session. I'm now going to go back to my bigger object, and I'm going to work on a little bit of teaching her to remain doing the behaviour that I've reinforced and not change it until I give you permission. Okay, let's put that back. So I'm not going to move that. Yay. Good girl, good girl. I wanted to understand that food can be around her environment, and she has to, good girl. Again, I would have this higher. Good girl. Good. Alright, so we're going to try again. So she goes on her object. So I'm going to just proof a little bit. Good girl. So now I'm going to just lower criteria, because I'm adding complexity by I'm challenging her. I'm going to just, good girl. Nice. Yay, feet. There's a bit of proofing. Good girl. Nice. Yay, good. I'm not bothered if she fidgets at this stage. She can't. Good. Nice. Yay. Ooh. So she come off, nothing happens. Good girl. So I just help myself. Good girl. Nice. Good baby. Good baby. Yay. Okay, get it. Good girl. So now I'm going to see if I can. Okay. So again, I'm not clicking anything. Pops, come here over here. Come over here. Not over here, because it's not the exact behaviour I want. I'm just at this moment just shaping her to say to her, I won't need you to stay on this disc. If I try and distract you, so what I'm saying to the dog is, if I ask you to do something, keep doing that until I give you permission to leave it, yeah? Despite the distraction. Yay. Good girl, nice. Good girl, nice. These aren't the best treats to use for this, but never mind. Yay. Clever. Good choice. Yay. Oh, sit down. Clever girl. Nice baby. Nice baby. Nice baby. Nice. Nice baby. Good choice. Yay! Superstar! I've got something. Just batteries. Good girl. Super. Yay, nice one. So my distraction is so quick that she's being really forced for, oh, good girl. And now I'm going to see if she'll just offer me the SIT and see if I can shape that back in. See if I can get that. Nice baby, yay, super Baba, super. I wanted to hold the SIT in there. Good girl, nice. Missed it. Nice. That's brilliant. Almost. Almost. Yay. You can see her little cogs turning. That's crappy. Good girl. Nice one. Nice, baby. That it. So I'm giving her a lot of information, but I'm not necessarily clicking, and I'm not necessarily feeding, which is then refining the behaviour that I'm training, yeah? And the other thing that I'm doing is, I've got good girl, acknowledge your choices. She chose to come back into work then. Yep, that was the thing I was going for. Good job. Yeah, good girl, stop. Yeah, good girl. So, does that make sense to everybody? Yeah? So, okay, well done, Bob. So I can grow the dog's understanding, and I can shape her doing the behaviour that I want, but I don't have to click the dog for her approximations. I saved that for the last thing that she did, which was her getting on the item and holding a sit. I'm going to wing it and just do it again. So I'd end there normally in the session, but for the purpose of demo, I will see if I can get one more like that out of her. Okay, here, look, one. Oh, yay. Good girl. Yay. Nice. Nice. Good girl. Super. So now, girl, let's just start the fidgeting really. Good girl. Good girl. Nice. Good girl. Nice. Good girl. Nice.
So Kamal, I can't
One
quite
second.
see, but are you putting the food on the
I'm just dropping it, yeah. Yay. Smart girl. Nice. Good girl. I know it's hard, isn't it? Nice. Nice. Let's reward that again because you're getting a bit slack on that. Getting a bit confused. Some more reinforcement for that. Twitching around though. I know it's hard, isn't it? Good girl. Smart. Yeah. Good. So just feed that. Smart. Yay. Good. Good. Nice baby. Good. Okay. Well done. You did great. You did great. You did great. Well done. Good girl. Let's go that in my session. Yeah. So now she can do what she likes, and she's not going to now rehearse any unsolicited responses that I'm not in a position to reinforce. So thinking about your environment, thinking about managing your environment, and then shaping the dog and forming that really, really clear communication with the dog, and saving your click for the exactness of behaviour. All right? Anybody got any questions? He was very clever. He was very clever. He was very clever. And that's literally, I've never done that with that puppy before. Yeah, all I've shaped with her is to get on that thing, and I cheated a little bit last night. Oops. And I brought her in here and I did a quick little session with her just getting on it, and I thought, oh well, to test that she was, yay, good girl. To test that she would be comfortable with doing it in this environment. But I thought it would be good to see me live how I would get the dog to make the behaviour more complex, and introduce the concept of the click and how important that is. All right? Good girl, you were very clever. Any questions? Oh, that was a nice one. You almost brought it back to me then. Cool. Alright, so what we're going to do then, and getting your dog, so the behaviours I would shape with the dog, which are universal for any dog sport, are get on something, get in something, go around something, pick something up, and body awareness and targeting behaviour. So the dog needs to understand to back up, it needs to understand front foot, back foot, nose targeting, etc. If you shape all those behaviours, you can train any single behaviour you need for a dog sport. Yeah, it doesn't matter what it is. Yeah, agility, obedience, working trials, agility. Yeah, hey you. That's it. Yeah, good girl. Any behaviour, you have those core behaviours to train. All right. Any questions? So. With puppies, I'm very obsessive about training. I probably train more puppies than I do when they're, because generally speaking, so we're talking about the timeline. When I get a puppy home, I train like my life depends on it, until they're about maybe 12 to 16 weeks. Then I back off them because they normally have a little growth spurt and they really can't control their body. And that's when they're probably going through teething, they're probably going through a little, teething and physical growth are the two big things at that age. So at that time I tend to, you need to go out, don't you? At that time I tend to, say for example, 8 to 12 or 8 to 14 weeks, I train like a madman. After that, I back off and I do the more life skills. Then I hit adolescence. So then I'm really, really putting loads and loads of work into life skill stuff. And then generally speaking, by the time it's come through adolescence, I would steadily be progressing my training. And I'd expect my dog to be trained, commas, by the time it's sort of 2. Yeah, that doesn't necessarily mean it can do all but it should know. And the other thing that I do with puppies at this age is I sow all the seeds for what that dog is intended to do. So if the dog's intended to be an agility dog, I would have sowed lots of seeds for that dog sport. If the dog is intended to be a bitey dog or a working trials, I would have sowed the seeds within the first 6 to 8 weeks of owning it. Yeah, and then I tend to back off them and allow them to develop and grow. Alright? Okay. Any questions?